Eating healthy doesn't have to suck, and meal prep doesn't have to be boring. You don't have to take the same thing to lunch every day to eat healthy-ish. Chicken, rice, vegetables, or fish, rice, and vegetables, sure, it'll do the trick, but it kind of sucks, and you're gonna hate it. So I'm gonna make something that's actually a little bougie, but also not expensive, tastes delicious, it'll be bright, and all of my coworkers will be jealous this week. Here we go. A couple of weeks ago, my wife and I were on a cruise for our 5-year anniversary. And while we were on that cruise, we went to dinner on our actual anniversary. It's one of the couple times a year that we always go somewhere, a little fancy. Anyways, with that said, there was a dish on the menu that I'm going to butcher the name of called Guazzetto di Cozze Gamberi, or Gamberi. But you didn't expect me to say that correct with this accent anyway. But essentially, I looked it up. It kind of translates into shrimp and mussels in a white wine sauce or something like that. Anyways, it's really good. It reminded me of cioppino. If you've never had cioppino, it's essentially like a seafood stew or a fisherman's stew that has fish and shrimp and mussels and a bunch of different stuff in it. Cioppino would be a lot richer. I think it's finished with butter, and so it kind of makes it, a much richer sauce. Whereas this was very bright, very tomatoey. Anyway, so I looked into how to make it, and then I decided that's what I was going to have for meal prep this week. I'm adding cod to it to boost the protein without boosting the calories too much. And instead of serving it with like a crusty bread or something along those lines that's not going to hold up in a meal prep, I'm actually going to serve it over cannellini beans, which are a more traditional Italian bean. They're technically a white kidney bean, so they're a little firmer. They should hold up and soak up some of the broth. But the important part is that they will bring fiber, so we're not trying to be hungry after we eat. To be honest with you, that's my biggest complaint with meal prep, is most every recipe you find on the internet is some small version of something made for a man much smaller than I am that's just going to make me angry. So this should be hearty, it should fill us up, and it's not boring. So we'll start with 4 ribs of celery. I'm making 7 servings here. And 2 large onions. We're going to dice those up small. We're going to add a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. We're going to add in our diced up celery and onion. Give that a stir. We're going to saute that for about 8 to 10 minutes till the onions start to get translucent and the vegetables soften. All right, we're going to throw in about a teaspoon of red pepper flakes and our garlic. We're going to cook for about a minute. I'm going to pour in a cup of dry white wine. It's a Sauvignon Blanc, Barefoot brand, just a cheaper brand from Walmart that I use for a cooking wine. Scrape the bottom if there's anything stuck. Probably won't be, that's fine. And then we're going to let this simmer for about 5 to 7 minutes. Maybe a little longer. We just want it to reduce by about half. All right, now that that's reduced by half, we're going to throw in about 2 teaspoons of kosher salt and probably about a teaspoon of fresh cracked black pepper. Close enough. Give that a stir. And we'll dump in our crushed tomatoes and 32 ounces of vegetable broth. I grabbed 2 of these, don't know why. Give that a stir. We'll add the mussels, shell and all, even though we're not going to leave the shell on them in the meal prep. Just want a little bit of flavor from there. We'll actually pull them out in a minute while the rest cooks. For now, we'll let that cook for about 5 minutes, maybe a little less because they are already cooked. Chose to get this cod at Sam's and get the fresh pack. Frozen probably would have been a little bit cheaper, but because I get up early and I go to Sam's on Sundays, a lot of times I find these yellow tags. Save myself nearly $6, and it's nearly exactly 2 pounds. And I'm even just going to trust their judgment, and I'm not going to weigh it myself. I'm going to add the cod in, mix that in. We're going to let that simmer for about 5 minutes, maybe a couple minutes longer. And stir, we'll add in our shrimp, give that a mix. Shrimp won't take long, 2-3 minutes, should turn pink, done. You'll need 1 bunch of parsley, chopped up finely. We'll throw that part away. And 2 lemons to finish. All right, now that our shrimp are turning pink, we'll add our mussels back in here. Mix those in. The juice of the 2 lemons that we cut up. And parsley. And there we go. We're prepped for the week. It should be delicious. It is a seafood stew, and you are going to heat it up in the office. But it's okay. They'll get mad maybe? I don't know. A wise man once told me, and that wise man was my father, if someone's upset, they have 2 choices. Then get over it or die mad. So enjoy your lunch, and to hell with them.